Amelia Earhart was born into a world that never imagined a woman could rise beyond the limits of expectation. And yet, from the earliest years of her life, something inside her whispered that the sky was not a place to fear, but a place to discover. She walked through fields of tall summer grass, feeling the warm wind brushing against her face, dreaming of places her feet could never carry her. And though no one around her understood the fire inside her, she carried it quietly, like a hidden spark, waiting for the right moment to grow into flame. While other children played simple games, Amelia watched birds dip and glide in the open air, their wings slicing through sunlight with such graceful confidence that her heart ached with longing. She wondered how it would feel to lift away from the weight of the earth, to trust the air beneath her, and to drift into a world where doubt could not reach. But the world she lived in offered no easy path for a girl with such dreams. People smiled politely when she spoke of flying, as if humoring a child with fantasies too fragile to survive adulthood. Women simply did not fly in that time, and yet Amelia felt a certainty rising inside her, as steady as the pull of the tide that she would someday touch the sky. Years passed, and the spark inside her remained unbroken. She grew into a young woman who carried herself with a quiet determination, often misunderstood by those who watched her from afar. Her eyes always seemed fixed on something distant, something beyond the grasp of ordinary life. While society tried to train her into the mold it had shaped for women, she felt trapped behind invisible walls, longing for a chance to break free. She sought adventure where others saw risk. She climbed trees, raced horses, worked odd jobs, and refused to shrink into a life that offered her no space to breathe. And then one day, the universe finally placed her in the path of destiny. She attended an air show where a pilot dipped his plane confidently across the sky, performing loops and dives that made the crowd gasp. But while the audience felt fear, Amelia felt recognition. Something inside her awakened with a force so powerful it left her breathless. When the plane roared overhead, she felt the wind rush over her skin. Like a promise, she knew at that moment that her life had shifted, that nothing now could anchor her to the ordinary world again. Not long after that, she was offered a short flight in a small plane. The moment the aircraft left the ground, Amelia felt herself rise, not just in body, but in soul. The earth softened beneath her, and for the first time she felt truly at home. The landscape stretched far into the distance, the sky wrapped around her like an embrace, and she realized she never wanted to live another moment without the possibility of flight. When the wheels touched the ground again, she knew her destiny had spoken. She would become a pilot, whatever the cost, whatever the world said, whatever walls stood in her way. Amelia began training with a hunger that surprised even those who believed in her. She worked odd jobs to pay for lessons, drove trucks, sorted mail, whatever she needed to earn enough to stay in the air. Her first flying instructor recognized her intensity and the way she listened to the language of the wind. She showed up before sunrise, stayed after sunset, and endured blistered hands, cold winds, and exhaustion. But Amelia never complained, because each moment in the sky made her heart feel whole. Each takeoff felt like a vow, each landing felt like a step closer to becoming the woman she knew she could be. Eventually, she bought her own plane, a bright yellow Kinner Airster she lovingly called the Canary. She took it up into open skies with a boldness that stunned onlookers. She set altitude records and challenged the expectations of the entire nation. People who once doubted her now watched her with a mixture of awe and disbelief. A woman was rising higher than anyone expected. A woman was proving that courage has no gender, and soon America would grow to know her name. In 1932, Amelia Earhart became the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic Ocean. The journey was grueling. Storms battered her plane, ice formed on the wings, and the engine fought against the cold night air. She flew through darkness, guided only by the dim shapes of clouds and the steady beat of her own heart. Yet, she never considered turning back. When she finally landed in Ireland, the farmer who greeted her had no idea he was speaking to a legend in the making, but the world soon would. Newspapers celebrated her photographs, filled magazines, and young girls looked at her and felt their own hidden spark awaken. She was proof that dreams did not have to be small. They could stretch like wings into the sky. Yet even with fame, Amelia remained humble. She traveled the country speaking to women, encouraging them to break barriers, pursue their passions, and trust their strength. She spoke gently but firmly, teaching that bravery is not the absence of fear, but the decision that something else matters more. Her words reached hearts that had long been silent. She inspired a generation, but Amelia was not finished. Her dreams reached farther than the Atlantic. She wanted to fly around the entire world, and she believed she could do it. In 1937, she announced her plan to circumnavigate the globe, a journey that would test every skill she possessed. She prepared for months, studying maps, weather patterns, and flight routes. She trained with intense focus, knowing the journey would be long and unforgiving. Her navigator, Fred Noonan, joined her, a seasoned expert who understood the challenges they would face. Together, they set off on an adventure that captured the attention of the world. For weeks, Amelia and Fred traveled across continents, following coastlines, oceans, and cities that stretched from horizon to horizon. Every sunrise greeted them thousands of feet above the earth. Every sunset wrapped them in colors no ground-dwelling soul could ever truly understand. They battled fatigue storms, mechanical difficulties, and the constant pressure of navigating through vast unknown territories. Yet Amelia remained calm. The sky had always been her partner. She trusted it. She trusted herself. As their journey neared its final stages, they approached the Pacific. Their next major stop would be a tiny island called Howland Island, barely visible in the endless ocean. The landing required perfect communication and precise navigation. But the weather that day was far from ideal. Radio signals grew faint. Clouds thickened, waves below crashed violently against themselves, and still Amelia pressed on, trusting that she could reach the island safely. Her final radio messages crackled through static. She reported low fuel, uncertain visibility, and difficulty locating the island. The world listened, people waited, and then silence. Search teams scoured the ocean for weeks. Ships combed the vast blue waters. Planes flew over thousands of miles of open sea, but the plane was never found. No trace of Amelia or Fred appeared. It was as if the sky itself had taken her back. The world mourned. A bright flame had vanished, but even in her disappearance, Amelia became something even larger than a pilot. She became a legend, a symbol of courage, a reminder that life is not meant to be lived within safe borders, but explored with a fearless heart. Even today, her story continues to echo through time. Generations speak her name with reverence. Pilots feel her presence in the wind. Girls who once believed their dreams were too wild now hold her story like a lantern lighting their path. She proved that passion is stronger than doubt, that purpose is stronger than fear, and that the sky has room for anyone brave enough to rise. In the quiet moments of reflection, we imagine her still soaring somewhere beyond the horizon, her plane gliding through soft clouds, her heart steady, her spirit unbroken. For a woman like Amelia Earhart does not simply disappear, she transforms. She becomes the very sky she loved. She becomes the wind itself, a whisper to all who dare to dream, a reminder that courage leaves a mark even when footsteps fade. Her name remains written not on stone, but on the endless blue above us. And if you listen closely to the wind on a quiet day, you may feel the faintest echo of her journey, a soft calling, urging you to rise, urging you to trust your wings, urging you to live boldly as she did, as she still does, forever soaring beyond fear, forever flying into the beautiful unknown, forever Amelia.